Social media went into absolute meltdown mode over a clip appearing to show Austin Reaves and Bronny James squaring up right after a training session. The footage amassed millions of eyeballs, sending purple and gold loyalists into a tailspin. But before you hit the panic button, there is a massive detail missing from the conversation, and trust me, the truth is wilder than the lie. If you have scrolled through your feed any time in the last 48 hours, you have definitely seen the chaos I am referring to. It all started on February 21st, 2026, when a single post hit X, the platform formerly called Twitter. That rumor tore through the basketball world faster than a fast break, reaching every corner of the web instantly. The source was an account dubbed Jake Morrison NBA, claiming, and I am quoting this verbatim, breaking, Bronny James and Austin Reaves involved in a physical altercation following practice today. Teammates were forced to separate the two. They promised more details were incoming. Now, really think about the gravity of that statement. A fist fight, teammates having to physically drag Austin Reaves and Bronny James apart. We are talking about two guys on the Los Angeles Lakers roster who, by all accounts, have had zero beef up until now. This was not a rumor that just fizzled out quietly. Absolutely not. This tweet racked up 1.6 million views, snagged over 5,000 likes, and triggered hundreds of furious replies in just a few hours. It migrated from X over to Facebook, flooded Instagram feeds, and took over threads. Lakers Nation was collectively losing it, convinced the locker room chemistry was imploding right in the middle of a pivotal season. The team is currently sitting at 34 wins and 21 losses, holding the 5th seed out west with legitimate title hopes. Before we get to the debunk, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you want the real stats without the drama. Honestly, the reaction makes sense. When you see a breaking news header paired with a convincing photo and that little blue verification badge, your brain does not immediately tell you to audit the source's biography. You are wired to trust it immediately. That is just the story nature of the digital age. You consume the headline, you get emotional, and before the facts can lace up their shoes, the hoax has run a marathon. But here is the twist that flew under the radar during the initial hysteria. If anyone had actually bothered to tap on that profile, which, let's be real, most folks ignored, they would have seen the red flag waving right in the bio description. It read, plain as day, satire account. The entire narrative was a complete fabrication cooked up by a Scotty Barnes fan page that has zero connection to the Lakers organization or legitimate sports journalism. Fortunately, a few sharp-eyed users caught the bluff, and they did not hold back in the comments. One user replied, "This is textbook clickbait." That single clapback gathered over 224 likes because the community started waking up. But the comment that truly buried this rumor came from a fan who highlighted the impossible logistics of the story. They posted, Bronny was suiting up for South Bay tonight in Texas. Try a little harder to make it believable next time. That was the checkmate moment. Because on the exact day this imaginary brawl was supposedly going down at the Lakers facility, Bronny James was not even in California. He was in Frisco, Texas, grinding with the South Bay affiliate in a G League matchup against the Texas Legends. He posted 13 points, 5 boards, and 5 dimes in 27 minutes during a 127-105 blowout. The very next evening, he was back on the court, putting up 17 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and a block in 34 minutes to secure a 104-99 win. The kid was not throwing punches. He was dropping buckets in a totally different time zone. This is not the first time the rumor mill has targeted the rookie this season. Remember back in November 2025, a viral story about a cheating scandal took off before the accuser publicly confessed she invented the entire scenario. That makes 2 massive, baseless hoaxes targeting this young man in a single season. 2 completely fictional stories that millions swallowed as fact before anyone asked for proof. It really highlights the insane pressure cooker Bronny is living in every day. The lens is microscopic. If he breathes, it is news. And when there is no news, the internet just manufactures drama. Once the actual journalists started digging into the fight rumor, the story crumbled instantly. Yahoo Sports ran a check and found 0 evidence to support the claim, noting that a bust-up of that magnitude would have leaked through insiders immediately. There was silence. The Times of India categorized it as a viral hoax. College Football Network linked it straight back to the satire page and pointed out all the footage showing Reaves and Bronny are totally cool. No alerts from ESPN, no pings from the NBA app, and zero statement from the franchise. Why? Because absolutely nothing happened. And the irony of rumors about beef between Austin Reaves and Bronny James are absolute garbage. There is actually a massive pile of proof pointing the other way, because these guys created one of the sickest highlights of the 2025-26 season. If you missed the play, let me set the scene for you. The tape doesn't lie. It is November 3rd, 2025, Lakers versus the Heat at Crypto.com Arena, and LA is absolutely cooking. You know those nights where the rim looks like the ocean? The fans are going wild. The vibe is electric. Late in the first quarter, the magic happens. Vando picks a pocket on the defensive end. Boom, instant transition. It is a 3-on-1 jailbreak with Bronny filling the lane. Great steal by Vanderbilt. 3-on-1 break. Here comes Bronny. Austin Reaves spots the rookie sprinting. No hesitation at all. He tosses a one-handed skyhook pass from the foul line, floating it up high. On the run and the flush from AR. Man, did the kid get upstairs on that play. Bronny elevates, snatches the rock at the apex, and hammers down a two-handed monster jam that sends the arena into absolute chaos. The bench is losing it. Everyone is standing. That was easily a top 10 play of the young season. Before we check the replay, smash that like button if you love Lakers highlights. LA runs the floor, and Austin says, "I got you." The slow-mo reveals just how much air Bronny grabbed there, two hands way above the rim. But this wasn't just a cool dunk, it was history, because according to the stat geeks at Elias, Austin Reaves is the first baller in at least 25 years since the year 2000 to dish out alley-oop assists to both a father and a son. Let that sink in. Reaves has been feeding LeBron for years. Now he is feeding Bronny. No other player in the history of the league has pulled that off while the dad and the kid were on the same active roster. If you check the archives for father-son duos like the Currys or the Barrys, none of them ever suited up as teammates simultaneously. We are in uncharted waters here, and Austin Reaves is right in the middle of the action. After the game, a 130-120 victory where Luka posted a triple-double and Reaves put up 26 points and 11 dimes. Austin opened up about the significance of the play. He joked, "I might be the only guy ever to throw a lob to a dad and then throw one to his son." It was a genuinely cool moment. He also went out of his way to hype up Bronny's hustle, pointing out his defensive grit and saying the squad really needed those minutes. The rookie provided. This wasn't new either. Even back in training camp, Reaves was telling the media that Bronny was looking like one of the sharpest guys in practice. Then, when LeBron got sent down to the G League to rehab his back, and Bronny ended up starting for the main squad? How wild is that? Bronny James starting in the big leagues while the King is in the G League? You can't make this up. Watch Austin Reaves in the postgame. He is genuinely pumped for the young guy. No saltiness, no bitterness, no secret drama leading to a locker room fight. Just a vet supporting a rookie's big night. By the way, don't forget to subscribe for more updates. In that same chat, Reaves spoke about LeBron's rehab with total respect. You know how the King operates. He breaks down film to a science. So he is probably chilling at home with a glass of wine, critiquing our spacing. Then Reaves circled back to the impact LeBron has on the franchise regardless of where he is physically. Obviously, it is LeBron and his mere presence lifts the group. But he is a winner at the end of the day, and that pedigree is unmatched. That is a dude who respects the James legacy. Full stop. No mixed signals, no beef, just real brotherhood. However, it hasn't all been highlight reels and victories for Bronny in Los Angeles. Let's keep it 100. There is a real debate raging in the sports world right now about whether Bronny is actually cut out for the NBA. And nobody has been louder about this than Stephen A. Smith. I am really trying my best to keep this respectful. Then he pivoted to a direct plea to LeBron. As a father, I am begging LeBron James, man to man, end this charade. Stephen A. put the stats on the screen, and the numbers at that moment were, let's be real, the start was nothing short of a nightmare. Over 13 Bachelor of Arts games, Bronny clocked just 44 minutes, tallying a mere 4 points total while shooting 1 for 16 from the floor and 0 for 7 from deep. Look, those stats are brutal, no matter whose name is on the jersey. Bronny James is currently sitting at averages of 0.3 points, 0.3 assists, and 0.4 boards. It's tough to watch. Now, Stephen A. Smith came out swinging, but he wanted to set the record straight. This isn't about hate, it's about reality. He asked the hard question, are we helping the kid or hurting him? We all see he isn't ready. Then, Stephen A. took the conversation to a place that struck a serious nerve. He moved past the analytics and cracked open the history books. He dug up a legendary tale that casual fans might miss, but fight fans know vividly, a story that serves as a grim warning about rushing greatness. I'm taking you back to the glory days of the sweet science. Remember when Larry Holmes, the Easton assassin, the man with perhaps the greatest jab in history, stepped into the ring with Marvis Frazier? Stephen A. dropped this parallel for a reason. You have to understand the context. Larry Holmes was an absolute killer, one of the most dominant heavyweight champions to ever lace up gloves. His jab was like a piston. Then you had Marvis Frazier, son of the legendary Smokin' Joe. Frazier, royalty in the sport. Joe threw his boy into the lion's den against Holmes way too soon, and the result was basically a televised execution. Marvis stepped up, but before the bell even rang, Holmes kept it 100 with the press. He looked the camera dead in the eye and said, "There is no kid with 10 pro fights who can beat me." He wasn't trash talking, he was stating a fact. When the bell rang, Holmes demolished the young man. But here is the chilling part. As Holmes was landing those devastating blows, he was literally looking at the referee, signaling him to step in and save the kid. Imagine that. Holmes was waving the ref over to stop the carnage mid-combination. Even the man delivering the beatdown knew it was morally wrong to let it continue. When the dust settled, the anger wasn't directed at Marvis for losing. All eyes turned to his father, Joe. The world asked the same heartbreaking question, why? Why would you expose your own flesh and blood to that kind of danger when, in your heart, he isn't prepared? That is the exact energy Stephen A. is bringing to the Bronny situation. He pivoted right back to the hardwood, asking the Lakers and LeBron, what are we doing here? Why set your son up for failure? Do you not respect the competition? He turned the heat directly on to King James, effectively asking LeBron, do you have amnesia? Do you not know who these Bachelor of Arts vets are? Do you not realize these are grown men fighting for their livelihoods? It is a heavy comparison, but before we go further, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next update. Now, whether you side with Stephen A. or not, that boxing analogy holds water. The Bachelor of Arts is the Shark Tank of global basketball. These are the top 1% of the 1%. Throwing a developing prospect into that, fire doesn't forge steel, sometimes it just melts the metal. You risk shattering his confidence in front of a global audience that has a very long memory. But let's flip the script for a second, because Stephen A. wasn't saying the door is closed forever. He was saying the door shouldn't be open times yet, asterisk. And if you look at the G League receipts, they prove that patience pays off. When he gets actual reps, the kid can play. The development down there tells a much more optimistic story than the main roster struggles. We are talking 15.5 points on 53.6% shooting, dishing out nearly 5 assists a night. That is not an accident. His recent back-to-back showings against the Texas Legends were solid. And let's not forget his season-high 12 points against the Spurs on February 10th, shooting 5 for 10 and handing out 6 dimes. That showed real flashes of an end. Bachelor of Arts caliber guard. He just needs the runway to take off. The motor is there. The defensive instinct is there. It has always been a question of timing. But while we are all fixated on the sun, the Lakers owner just dropped a bombshell that might blow up the entire foundation of the franchise. Forget the rookie, this is about the king himself, LeBron James. What Jeanie Buss just said changes the game. If you love Lakers news, hit that subscribe button right now because you need to hear this. While everyone was distracted by viral clips and the readiness debate, Jeanie Buss, the boss of the Purple and Gold, sat down for a massive interview on CNBC on February 17th, 2026. What she revealed has the whole league on edge. They asked her point blank if LeBron is wearing a Lakers uniform next season. She didn't give the standard PR yes. Instead, she dropped a response that sent a shiver down the spine of every fan in Los Angeles who has been banking on the fans are holding their breath, praying the greatest icon to wear the purple and gold in this era suits up for one last dance. But something is brewing in Los Angeles. Before we break down the drama, smash that like button and subscribe for daily Laker updates. Here is the headline. Jeanie Buss dropped a quote that was crystal clear in its uncertainty. She said, quote, "Never say never," but she admitted he has offered zero guidance on his plans. She said he earned the right to choose, but the silence is deafening. Let that sink in. The owner of the Los Angeles Lakers is publicly admitting she has no clue if the face of the franchise is returning. Buss sounded skeptical, honestly. She hinted that retirement or a New Jersey are very real possibilities for the King. To get why this is a bombshell, you have to look backstage. This is not just a vague press conference answer. It is a symptom of a marriage that has been crumbling for years. This relationship is on the rocks. Insiders at ESPN report that Buss is frustrated with the power dynamic, specifically the grip Clutch Sports has on the team. Flashback to 2022, after the Russell Westbrook experiment failed, Buss reportedly considered trading James. That idea would have been insanity just 2 years earlier, right after they popped champagne in the Disney bubble. Then you have the Bronny situation. When Los Angeles took his son at pick 55 in the 2024 draft, it was marketed as a fairy tale. The first father-son duo in league history. It looked perfect on camera. But behind closed doors, sources say Buss felt James wasn't grateful enough for what she viewed as a massive favor. That tension has been bubbling under the surface of every interaction, whether they admit it on camera or not. Now, Buss tried to put out the fire in January, calling the rumors unfair and claiming the mutual respect is intact. LeBron played his part too, telling the media on January 23rd that everything was cool between them. But the leaks kept springing, and in the NBA, when the leaks don't stop, it usually means the house is burning down. Do you think the media is making it up, or is there real beef? Let us know in the comments. The February interview is crucial because of the context. Buss wasn't just talking about a player, she was outlining a new era. She was discussing the future of the organization, and bluntly, that future does not revolve around LeBron James. Buss made it explicit. The franchise is now building around Luka Doncic as the primary centerpiece. Remember, they swapped Anthony Davis for the 26-year-old phenom in that earth-shattering blockbuster trade. She called Luka the young superstar the fans pay to see. With Mark Walter claiming ownership, they have the stability to pivot. This is where the financial dominoes start to tip over. The math is getting very real because of James's contract. The King is making $52.6 million this season and has a player option for next year. If he walks, that massive salary vanishes from the cap sheet, giving the front office incredible spending power. They need that cash because Austin Reaves is due for a mega extension, potentially hitting $240 million over 5 years. And folks, let's be real about Reaves. The man has earned every single dime coming his way. Check the stat line, 25.4 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists a night while shooting over 50%. He went from an undrafted afterthought to a legitimate franchise cornerstone. He gambled on himself, rejecting an $89.2 million deal last summer because he knew his stock would rise. The Lakers own his bird rights, so they can offer a 5-year max starting at $41.5 million annually. Rival teams can only offer 4 years. But clubs like Utah, Detroit, and Brooklyn have the cap space to make things interesting. Reaves says he wants to be a Laker for life and isn't chasing the last dollar, but this is a business first. He is going to get paid, and the Lakers know it. But here is the ugly truth. The Luka and LeBron pairing, it isn't working. Just look at the win-loss column. It is the uncomfortable reality that some fans refuse to accept. One analyst put it brutally, at this specific stage of their careers, Reaves is simply the more impactful player. It sounds crazy to say, but the numbers support it. Reaves is driving winning in a way James isn't right now. The defensive metrics, the efficiency, the on-court flow, it all suggests the team might be better off. Los Angeles could actually be a superior squad building around a Doncic and Reaves duo, moving on from the LeBron era. The fit has been clunky all season. We are basically seeing a rerun of the first half struggles every night. Here is the bottom line. When you put all 3 of those heavy hitters on the floor, the defense absolutely evaporates. JJ Redick was hired for his tactical mind, but even he hasn't been able to solve this geometry problem. The issue is that Redick can't find the courage to bench a legend, and that inability to make the tough call is the real problem. There is a massive elephant in the room that the Los Angeles front office refuses to touch. However, Jeanie Buss may have just tipped her hand, signaling that the franchise's long-term vision does not rely on a 41-year-old icon anymore, regardless of his legendary status. So, where does this leave the rookie? That is the million-dollar mystery. If the King walks away either to hang up his sneakers or chase a final ring elsewhere, Bronny's journey takes a drastic turn. After bouncing back and forth to the G League 7 times this season, the team insists it is all part of the process. And honestly, the results are speaking for themselves. Before we look at the numbers, hit that like button if you think the kid has potential. He is averaging 15.5 points on 53.6% shooting, along with 4.8 assists, painting a much brighter picture than his brief NBA cameos. Bronny has remained upbeat, claiming his squad has championship DNA. But without his father's massive shadow and influence protecting him, his career finally becomes a meritocracy. Frankly, that might be the ultimate blessing for everyone involved. We can stop overanalyzing practice clips. We can end the nepotism arguments. We can finally stop watching Stephen A. Smith beg on national TV. It just becomes a young athlete fighting to prove he belongs. But let's be real about what the owner just implied. That message was not about the rookie. It wasn't about Reaves. It was a direct signal regarding LeBron James and the very real probability that this historic era of Lakers basketball is facing its final curtain call. The scary part is that nobody, not the executives, not the fan base, and not even the King himself knows how the script ends. Make sure to subscribe for more updates and click the video on your screen to keep watching.